everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. All right. Today's topic is a man asking about body count. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers, the new subscribers, and welcome to those of you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now we have a letter, so let's dive right into this letter and see what she says. Do you think men who obsess over a woman's sexual past can be narcissistic? They could be, but not necessarily. I met a man. He seemed nice at first. We have been dating for a few weeks. Since I have not dated in years, I am new to a lot of lingo in the dating world. Well, one day, while on the phone, he said, "May I ask a question?" I said, "Sure." He said, "What is your body count?" I said, "What? What in the heck does that mean?" He was basically asking how many men I have been with sexually. I was taken aback by this question because it was a complete detour from our conversation, because he'd had that in his mind to ask you, and that's all he couldn't hear whatever your conversation was because he was trying to phrase it right in his head. He probably knew that he shouldn't be asking it anyway, but somehow somebody probably told him that he should ask it or whatever, but that's why it just kind of came out of nowhere, because this was his intention to ask you this question anyway. All right, so, and nothing else you said before that, he even heard. I became upset. I said, "Well, my previous relationships are my business." He said, "I was just asking for health reasons." Well, you know what? How old is this guy? Or you? You didn't tell me your age or anything. and I'm sure that's going to make a difference, because he sounds very immature for him to come out like that. Very immature. Now, young guys, I have heard, when I was in the dating world eons ago, there was a thing going through where somebody would ask you, "Well, what's your body count?" But it would be more like a joke. You see, more than a serious thing. But here in 2025, the men are still asking that, because it really doesn't make a difference health-wise. You can get a disease if you got one body count. So it doesn't make and be disease-free with 20 body counts. So, the question is irrelevant. And it shows his immaturity because he doesn't know any better. Okay? He was speaking as if he had a chance of having sex with me. Right. He figured since you all had a few dates, sex been definitely on his mind. But he's been afraid of having sex with you because he don't know how many men you've been with because of health reasons. Well, that's just stupid, because if you had a disease, you can get a disease with just one partner, and you can have it. You see, so for him to ask you the body count, it just shows that his immaturity. I'm going to say that. He said, "My sexual health is important to me." Fine. Well, be celibate. Why are you going to put it on me? If your sexual health is that important to you, you're the one bringing up sex. So be celibate. I didn't bring it up. So he's not the right one for you for sure. But he's not grown up. Okay. I replied with, "Well, that is great for you, but my number of past relationships have nothing to do with your health. because we are not sexually active. You see? He he trying to jump the gun and pave the way for sex. He's a deadbeat. Yeah, I was so irritated. I hung up and blocked him. Good for you. He's stupid. He's stupid. You don't want to waste your time with somebody who's stupid. Okay? Why are men so fixated on other men? Well, I don't know if his fixation was really on other men. I know some men may ask you that because they want to compare, your experience. Maybe, they maybe just been with one partner. Maybe they're a virgin, never been with any partner. And that would account for him asking a dumbass question like that if he's a virgin. So he don't know what to ask. I mean, you know what I mean? He probably just heard that somewhere and plucked it out of the sky and let me ask this. You see? Because he's afraid of getting a disease. Well, he needs to just shut it down. Don't have sex with nobody. Then you don't have to worry about no disease. Okay? So you hung up and blocked him. Good. Good. I am in my 40s with a grown son. So, of course, I'm not a virgin. That's what I told you. I mean, he's stupid. Something else is wrong with him mentally. Okay. What do these men want? Well, don't judge him by other men. He's just a bad seed out of the bucket. So just throw that bad seed away. Hopefully your next seed will be a better, healthier seed. Okay? That one was not mature enough. So it needs some more growing to do. I can't help but think men use the body count question to judge and manipulate women. Well, some men do, but I don't think this man did. Unless you just didn't tell me enough about him. But for him to come out of face with a question like that, to me, it just sounds like he's unaware and probably have not been with that many people, if anybody. Okay? Let's see here. Some men worry about how they're measured up sexually or emotionally. Well, for them to ask about your body count, if they've been with women, I doubt it if they ask you that. I really do. If they have experience with women, they're not going to ask you what your body count is unless it's a joke. They're joking around asking, well, what's your body count? Throw it right back on them. But usually experienced men don't ask about that sort of thing because they understand that it's sexual diseases out there. And if they're smart, they'll do everything possible to protect themselves catching any diseases. Okay? But inexperienced men, of course, everything's scary. Even having sex is scary. They probably get in there and don't even know what to do scary. Now, they would come out with a question like that to me. It's been my experience that it's the inexperienced man who will come out with these stupid questions. Okay? And I say stupid because if you know anything about transmitted diseases, you don't have to be with a whole lot of people to get one. One bad apple can ruin your life. You understand? So apparently they didn't get the memo. Unfortunately, some men still believe that a woman's worth or wifey material status is tied to her sexual history while not holding themselves to the same standard. This guy, I don't think you're looking to marry him or anything. You were just dating. Because he sounds immature, no telling what's going through his mind. He's probably way ahead of himself. not really knowing what could happen with you. And you say you only been dating for a couple of weeks. What does that mean? You just been kind of talking on the phone, where you're face to face? And I'm kind of thinking you might have been talking more on the phone, because if you were face to face, seemed like he would have asked you this face to face and not over the phone where he could hide. You see, that shows his immaturity and his insecurity. Okay? I don't think he asked you that question to compare himself to other men, because experienced men, they feel like they know what they're doing, whether they do or not. You understand? Nobody told them that they was doing it wrong, so I guess they all feel like they're doing it right. So they're not going to be asking you no stupid questions like that. All they want to know is if you're going to do it with me. That's it. Okay? A man who's serious, respectful, and emotionally mature will care more about your character, capabilities, and how you treat each other every day. Not about how many partners you had before him. You understand? That's a serious and respectful partner, a mature partner. They want to know you as a person. So this guy, it's not much that you could say about this guy. I think I already told you how I feel about him. But I think you did right. Block him. Don't even waste your time with him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And probably having sex with him would be the worst anyway. Okay. So you didn't miss out on anything. Just continue, love yourself, respect yourself, and remember, ladies, never settle. I hope you understand the message today. I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.